The Samsung Galaxy A56 recently came out, and on the surface, it looks like a solid mid-range phone. Should you really upgrade from its predecessor, the Samsung Galaxy A55, or should you stay with your old phone? Really, I'm saying this because there are going to be minor changes and almost identical specs on the Galaxy A56 as compared to the Galaxy A55. The major changes include a new, bigger display, a new chipset, and also a new selfie camera. These are the major changes I saw. So let's get through this review and see, number one, what's new, what's still the same, and whether it's actually worth your hard-earned money to buy the Samsung Galaxy A56 in 2025. So the first aspect we have to look at is going to be the design and build quality. And this is very important to me, I am not going to lie. So the first thing you have to look at has to be the new camera island, which makes the phone looks kind of different, but still I think it's just the same. Mainly because the camera island kind of looks like those camera covers that you can buy online, and it's very suspicious when the same thing has been done to the S25 series. Then on the phone we get an aluminum frame, and the back also has Gorilla Glass Victus Plus protection, which is actually an upgrade from last year. So the A56 is also thinner and lighter than the A55, and on this phone you also get an IP67 water and dust resistance rating, which is actually a very good upgrade. In terms of the design and build quality, I think everything is the same, and I think for phones these days we are getting to a point whereby we are getting the same design and some minor upgrades there and there, like the same thing that's going on with cars. Next up, let's talk about the display. And in this aspect, I think they added one major thing that I really like on most Android phones. First off, you get a 6.78-inch OLED display which goes up to 120Hz refresh rate. We have a 1080p resolution, and the bezels are also smaller from last year, making the phone screen a bit bigger. Great colors, over 1 billion colors which can be projected from this phone. The max brightness is actually 450 nits and can go all the way up to 1213 nits. The phone switches between 60 to 120 Hz depending on what you're doing on the phone to save battery life. And also there is a new thing in town, which is the optical under display fingerprint reader, which is the new aspect I haven't seen on most Samsung phones so far, and I think this is the best upgrade so far from any A series phone that I've seen in the past couple years. Now let's talk about the storage, software, and the overall performance of the phone we have in hand. First off, you get the One UI 7 paired up with Android 15. You get over 6 OS updates and also 6 years of security patches, which is a very good deal. In terms of gaming, the phone is a bit better from last year, but the chipset is still mediocre since it's the Samsung Exynos 1580, which doesn't really compete as compared to other phones we have seen in the A series so far. So that there is an upgrade. Number two, we also don't get expandable storage on this phone, but you can still get this phone in 128 gigabytes and 256 gigabytes, and also with 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM. And I think that's all in terms of the software, storage, and other stuff like that. The chipset is a bit of a downside. The software support is great. No expandable storage, not that good. But in terms of the software, I don't think there's any problem here. Because in terms of gaming, you get decent performance. But on most games which are high end, you're gonna be playing your game at medium to low performance depending on how your phone is going to be able to handle that, and also the storage capacity that you're going to have. But overall, I think you're gonna face a little bit of lag, but still it's going to be fine if you just lower the graphics. So in terms of this, I think it's a bit better, but still it's going to be a bit of a downgrade if you're coming from the A55. Now let's talk about the battery specs. First off, this phone comes with 5000 milliamp battery capacity. Number two, you get 12 hours of usage, 12 to 13 hours of usage, which is great. You get 45-watt charging, which is actually better. And also, you can charge the phone from 0 to 65% in 30 minutes, making it faster than the A55, which is actually an upgrade if you look at it that way. So, I think so far we can actually say yes, in terms of the battery specs, it's actually a bit better. In terms of the camera specs, I don't really want to intrude, but mostly this is going to be subjective. those are the camera specs as you can see on the screen, but all that can be judged through the samples that I'm going to share with you. Of course, the photos are going to be detailed and the quality remains as crispy as possible when you zoom in, but as I said, it's all subjective with what actually is better for the person. The camera is good at night and day. Even on human subjects, the photos are going to be very, very good. But as always, this is a somewhat mid-range camera experience. So in areas with less light, the photos are still good, but those great colors and great photo quality is going to be a bit down. So I think that's the only downside. In terms of videos, get videos at 4K at 30 frames per second, and the optical image stabilization is still great as you compare it to the F5. But in terms of camera performance, there is never going to be that one phone where everyone is going to say the camera is great and it's great for everyone. So it's subjective. This phone in its overall capacity. First off, let's start with the badge. You're getting a mediocre design. That's the first thing that you need to know about. Number two, you're getting a high performance chipset at this price range. Number three, there is no SD card slot. And number four, the bezels are still huge, even though they are a bit smaller than the A55. If you want to compare, buy it. And let's look at the good. The build quality is good. You get great camera performance, future OS updates which cover up to 6 years, which is also actually great, and looks at how durable this phone is, since the build quality is also great. So another thing is also the great display. Overall, there are not many upgrades to this phone and mostly minor changes, as I've said in the intro. So what is my personal opinion when it's coming to buy the Samsung Galaxy A56? If the Samsung Galaxy A56 is the third phone you're buying in the A series and you have something far back, not the A55, I guarantee you if you buy this phone, it's the best phone you're going to buy. But if you're using the A55, do not buy the A56. Wait for something better next year or even the year after that if something that comes out next year is not that good. But if you have the A55, don't even bother, because there are not that many changes, and even the screen is bigger but not that bigger. So you might see most reviews out there which might actually tell you, oh, this phone is great, blah blah blah, but still you're just buying the same phone again and again and again. The only things that's changing is mostly the design, and this year the design didn't really change. So thanks so much for watching this video. If this information really helped you, a like and subscribe will be very, very great. We're reaching up 300 subs soon, and thank you so much for the support. More videos are coming soon.